Yeah, welcome to another episode of ArtCo Drone Solutions Saturday Night Live number 91. We've got a great show today. We're going to talk about, what are we going to talk about? Okay, we're going to talk about, the Mini 2. We'll talk about the Mini 2 that's out this week, so that's one of the hot topics out there. And then we're going to talk about the Bugs 20 EIS, and then we'll talk about FPV drones and drone tech, and all that good stuff. So, welcome, guys. I want to say hello to my good friend Michael Blade and Steve Mack. Welcome to the show. Welcome. I'm just waiting for the usual guys that come on the panel. Hopefully they'll be on in a second. I sent a link to James over at Above and Beyond Drones. He should be here momentarily. Hey Jody, welcome to the show. What else is going on? So the Mavic Mini, that's the big hot topic lately. Since last week, before it got released, there were a couple people that got their hands on one. Good morning, James. Enjoy those waffles, and hello to Ness. Good to see you guys, and hopefully you could come on and give us a little up to date on your swimming pool. It's really coming along great. So a couple guys got a hold of the Mini 2 before it was released, and very interesting. And a few of the guys in the drone community have their Mini 2s in their hands, and they're testing it out and hearing a lot of pretty interesting stuff. It turns out that the old batteries will fit and work in the Mini 2, but not vice versa. So that's interesting to go. But it's got an updated camera, and so it sounds really good. So how do I sound out there, guys? Do I have an echo? All right, let's welcome my first guest to the panel, all the way from Melbourne, Florida. Let's welcome Mitch, old guy, and a drone.
Oh, wow. Hi, Art.
Welcome, Mitch.
How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good. Worked overtime today, so a little tired, but I like that big check that I get in a couple weeks.
Well,
So,
good for you.
how do I sound? Do I sound a little echoey here?
No,
Okay.
no, you sound okay. Just a
Uh,
typical. I get this. I don't know what causes it, but a little breakup, a little cackling kind of in the
uh,
audio on StreamYards. That happens on
uh,
my stream. I don't know if I sound that way. If somebody in the chat can. Michael
you
Blade
sound.
says you're still echoing. Maybe there might be an echo. I'm listening to you. Remember through the StreamYards feed. I'm not listening
Uh,
to you on the actual YouTube.
okay. Yeah, I'll turn the volume down because I'm hearing a little echo. And you sound fine. I sound like I'm talking in a barrel.
Well, Art, I'm a professional. Don't try this at home, children. So,
I
hello,
want to say
everybody.
hello to
Michael Blade, how
Fly
you
Zone
doing? Who else
Drone
is there?
Quadcopters
Fly
and
Zone, Steve
Agent
Mack is
Cage is,
Jody. Your own shots.
yeah, Agent K, Baby Echo.
Agent K, my friend. How you doing?
Let's see, I got everything. Yep.
Okay,
So
sure,
did you?
sure.
So did you get the Mini too, or are you going to get one, or what?
Where you been, Art? Didn't you see the video that I put out about unboxing the
Oh
mini?
no, I
You're
didn't.
not, you're
I've
not
been
paying.
working all day today, so I haven't been able to see it. So when did you put out said video?
I actually picked it up on the 5th, on Thursday. I ordered it from Best Buy and online, and then the closest one they had them in stock to me was down in Vero Beach, about 35 miles south of me. So I went, drove
Right.
down there and picked it up. And then on Friday, I actually took it out and did the first flights. But on Thursday, I did an unboxing and I published it before the Thursday night stream. You were on my Thursday night stream. I can't
Oh
imagine. I
yes,
can't.
that's right. That's
Yeah.
right.
So that's the story. I
Awesome.
and
So how you
today,
like it so far?
well, and today I took it back.
Oh, okay.
And
Perfect.
and
So
I'll
did you
talk
get
about.
100% refund?
I did because I asked for it. They originally wanted to charge me a restocking fee, but
Ah,
I basically told them. First, it was a nice girl. First, she says, "What's wrong with that?" I said, "Well, it doesn't do everything it's supposed to, but I don't think it's broken." So she issues the refund, and it comes out, and it's to restocking fee, which was about $90 on this. So I said, "What are you charging me a restocking fee for? I thought you had 14 days to bring it back, no questions asked." And she said, "I said." There's a problem with it. And she looked at me and she re-entered the sale as if it were damaged, re-entered the refund as damaged, and then it gave me a full refund, no
oh, well,
restocking.
there you go.
So there's a clue for all you guys that taught me one thing. That's the last time I buy electronics from Best Buy that I can buy on Amazon. Say what you will about Amazon, their return policy is without exception.
Right.
And there's no such thing as restocking fees, and any reason, any time, you return it within the period of time they give you, which is usually pretty generous. See, Best Buy came out and made a big deal out of this extended return because of the holiday season. You have until January 15th. And when you look at the return policy, it isn't until you get way down in the weeds with the fine print that they basically start talking about drones and restocking fees.
Yeah.
And I think that's very misleading. If you're gonna
Yeah.
advertise a return policy, then have a return policy. But that's just me. I have
Right.
my opinions on virtually everything, like most people. But
All right.
no, I really, and we'll talk about it some more tomorrow night on the show. And I have, I didn't make a second video about it because who needs another Mavic
Yeah.
2 Mini video?
Yeah, well,
right
you
now?
gotta do about 10 more precision landing videos.
Yeah, well, I mean, there are 1,000 Mavic Mini 2 videos out there
Yeah.
already. And it's because of a couple of those videos that I decided to return it. And we'll talk about it again tomorrow night, but I'll
Okay.
there's a
Okay.
problem. Agent K says, yeah, let me tell you the reasons why I returned. Number one, when you're in sport mode and you're chugging along and make a hard yaw turn, the gimbal goes, please.
Oh boy.
Philly Mike had that problem, and he
Huh.
and a couple other guys had that problem, and I had that problem. It only happens in sport mode, and the gimbal just, and then you have to get the gimbal free. Well, that shouldn't do that. So that's obviously a bug that'll be fixed by firmware. I think that the biggest disappointment I had with it, and it was my mistake.
Yeah.
I thought that these things had, and even last night on Kelly's stream, telling everybody what I thought was true, and turns out I was wrong. And you know what? I was wrong once before, Art.
Oh,
Oh, it was that time that I thought I was wrong, but I wasn't. But I was wrong. I was wrong about the batteries, and I had it just backwards. I thought that the original Mini had lithium polymer lipo batteries,
ah,
and that the new Mini had lithium ion batteries. And I made a big deal about how much I really wanted lithium ion batteries because they're lower maintenance, they have many more recharge cycles. Turns out that the original Mavic Mini had the lithium ion cells. And what they did in order to save weight was they had the batteries in the Mini 2 weigh 20 grams less than the batteries that were in the original. And the reason lithium ion batteries are more, they're not only are they more power dense, they're heavier than lipos. So they put I think it's a 2450 milliamp hour battery in the first Mini, and it was a lithium ion battery.
right.
And then new Mini, by switching to a 2S lipo lithium polymer, they were able to save 20 grams, and they lowered the capacity to 2250 milliamp hours. And
Oh,
I thought that I had gotten a little drone with lithium ion batteries, and that kind of disappointed. So that was the second. The main reason I is I don't want to be a pioneer. I was the same with the original Osmo Pocket that I bought. I
right.
returned it a day after I bought it, 2 days, because there were obvious faults that are yet to be corrected by 12 different software firmware upgrades. I don't want to be a pioneer and have to work through that. I don't need it that much. So I have some tomorrow night on my show. I'll show a bunch of video that I shot with the thing. It really is it's don't get me wrong, it's an amazing little quad. It handles the wind okay. I'm convinced it's just almost not quite ready for prime time. It needs those first one or two firmware upgrades to solve some of the initial problems. So
Right.
I can wait. I'll probably end up buying another one when they get this stuff fixed. Probably when they have a Black Friday sale,
Oh, there you go.
and I can buy it without the Flymore kit. That's
I
another
want to say
thing.
hello to
Okay.
Michael McReynolds, Jim's Droning, and Herman at Phantom Flight 101. It sounds like a radio station.
Yeah.
You are listening to Phantom Flight 101, where the hits keep on rocking.
Jody wants me to go back to Best Buy and buy it as an open box item. No, I don't think they're gonna be giving anything away. Uh, the point I was making, Art, was that
Yeah,
I don't need a Flymore kit.
yeah,
I have plenty of drones, Mavics, and
yeah, yeah.
I most of the time when I go out, I very rarely ever fly more than one battery anyway. And anything I might use this Mini for would be just a quick shot here and there. So one battery would be enough. Don't need the case. Don't need the 3 battery charger. And the difference in price is $150.
Uh-huh.
Add the sales tax I paid at Best Buy. Now we're almost $200. So when I am ready to buy this thing again, I'll probably just buy the basic one, and I'll buy it someplace with those sales
Right.
tax. So I'll have the same quad, less a couple batteries and a case for $200 less, and possibly I'll be able to get it on sale.
Cool.
But that's the deal. But don't get me wrong. I don't want to dissuade anybody from buying it.
Right, right, right. Yeah, I'm like you. I'm not one of these, pioneer people. I'm happy with my Mavic Air 2. I think it's a really great drone. I mean, it's a huge step up from the original. It's quieter, longer battery, better camera, and it's the same size as the old one. And that's what I like about it.
Have you seen Marcus Crawford's video where he took the Mavic Mini 2 out to Snake River Canyon?
No. I'll
That's
have to.
another. That's another one that gave me a lot of pause. He almost lost it. He was way out there, way out there. It was a windy as hell day. Way out there, way down out over the canyon, over the Snake River, and this thing started. He just totally. It just went out of control. It started turning in different ways. He says he's yelling, "I have no control. I have no control over it." It's doing all kinds of weird things. And I don't think it was that windy. And then he went ahead and hit the return to home button, and finally the thing started to get back under control. So that scared me a little bit too. So
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of like Brian with his Paradenofi that took a swim in the Ohio River.
yeah, yeah. These things only happen. They only happen when you're in some god awful place where you'll never get it back. Never happens on your front lawn where it would just kind of crash in front of you. Always. And the time I crashed my little FPV quad, it had to go into the one little canal that's running near my house out here, of course.
Right.
Drink the water.
Oh man. Yeah, well, way I lose them on roofs and small crates. Oh, or let someone else fly.
Let somebody else.
That's the only time I lose it.
Michael Wright says hi. How you doing?
Oh yeah, and Mike from GFO Drones. He can't make it today because he's on a double shift today. So he's a pretty busy guy.
Mel is in here.
Yeah, I saw that.
Did you see his live stream today?
I did. Did you see the super chat I sent him?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, I said, let's see. Oh, next week Mel's going to be doing a live stream crochet blanket.
Yeah, my comment was, this is like watching paint dry.
Yeah, I was just going to say something like that.
And evidently he's still going on. Is it still going?
No, I don't know.
Some of these 3D prints can take 24, 48 hours if they're big enough. So it very well may be. He was trying to print a 3D print a tablet holder for his Mavic Air 2 controller, like the one that you have.
Right.
He was trying to 3D print a tablet holder. It was up to a 10-inch tablet, so it was pretty big. And it was looked like about this tall when I tuned.
Right.
Interesting. Let me go see if he's. We'll go over here and see if he's still doing it. Let's see. There it is. It's still printing. 5 people. Oh my God! Look how big it's getting.
Yeah, he's still.
Wait a minute. What did I do? I got my. There it is.
6 people watch.
There you go. Did it get big? Oh, I got it.
Oh, yeah.
My monitor, for some reason, something is very strange here on my.
Yeah, that is strange. You are.
You know what it is when I booted up my computer, it picked up. I have to do a little work on it. Windows never fails. Windows did an upgrade, another major upgrade, again, and this week, and it screwed up half of my settings on everything, and I'm really getting sick and tired of this. Every time Windows decides it wants to fix something, it breaks my entire setup. And now today it broke my screen sizing in OBS. I have to go back and rebuild all of those scenes with the proper window sizes and monitor positions, and hopefully that'll go out. Yeah. But anyway, so where are the rest of your guests, Art?
I don't know. I sent out a whole bunch of invites to people on the Gmail, emailed, excuse me. So, yeah, where is everybody?
I'm
So,
not
oh,
gonna,
I ordered a gigabyte motherboard, and I'm eventually going to put a Ryzen 5 in it, probably a 2600, which
oh,
is
okay. You're going to build
6
yourself.
cores, 12 threads.
You're not going to go with the new 5000 series.
No, I just don't have the pocketbook for that.
I've got a 2700 in this Dell.
Yeah,
Works fine. 2700X.
yeah,
That's an 8 core.
yeah. Oh,
Uh, but it works. It works. It works fine. You might want to look at that. It can't. I can't.
yeah, I
I got.
might have to check that one
It
out.
can't be 10, $20 more than the 6 core
Yeah.
one.
Oh, okay, you're going from 6 core to 8 core.
Yeah,
That's
I've got the 8 core, 16 threads. So
right. Cool, cool.
yeah, check it out anyway.
Yeah, I'll do that. Thanks for giving me the update on that. So, what kind of memory are you? What speed are you using?
I have no idea. I just bought a Dell gaming.
Adele.
Yeah,
Yeah.
gaming piece. It had the 27X AMD. It has
Okay.
forget which video card, but
Right.
fairly decent video card, and it had 16 gigs of RAM.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, so whatever, and it's a couple 3 years. That's 2 years old, 3 years old. So
Right.
whatever was in
Right.
vogue 3 years ago, and I
Should
paid
be.
$1,000 for it at Best Buy,
Wow.
$1,000. It's the same computer that Lloyd Mendenhall has,
Yep. Mm-hmm.
same exact computer, and for
Mhm.
$1,000 without having to go through the grief of building it and setting it up, fine tuning and all that. And I have no need for anything any faster than this, unless I decide that Microsoft Flight Simulator is going to be my life from here on out, and then
Right.
I'll have to go ahead and get a $5,000 pile of parts and build myself a computer, but not yet.
Well, I think Ken Heron went and got a what was an Alienware.
Is that what he ended up with?
Yeah.
Did you see Ken's video? Uh,
Oh, he crashes FPV.
crashed his. Yeah. Well, he was trying. You see what he was trying to do? Uh,
Oh yeah, he was. It was a Bob Evans sign. He was trying to fly right between the,
Right.
you
Yeah.
know, where the arch at the top of the. Yeah.
Pardon me if I'm looking sideways, Art. I'm trying to straighten out my OBS system here, and let's see.
Agent K. No, I'm not a gamer. I was a long time ago when Doom was the big rage back in the early '90s. I used to get that, and then I'd get all the hats where I could change the characters that look like uh, Simpson characters. That was pretty cool. And that's as far as I got. And then I like the old arcade games like Tempest and Centipede and Galaglia. Love
Oh, yeah.
that. And but that not really into games. I like Call of Duty looks like it could be a cool game. Then there is another one called Game of Warships where you could design your own battleship or whatever and just go shoot at other ships. And TJ Grady, welcome to the show. And don't forget, this channel is monetized, so you can send me a super chat or a super sticker. And so far, Margie's the only one to send me a super sticker.
Really?
Yeah. That was last week, I think it was. It was I did a premiere video before I did my regular live stream. Yep.
I'm still trying to
Trying to get your
my monitors where they belong in OBS. Yeah. So this one is anyway. Continue to march, Art.
For some reason, Jim over at Above and Beyond Drones can't seem to get my channels straight.
Well, that's because you send an email from one of your channels for your show on the other. Your email came from Art's Place.
Oh yeah, that's my regular email channel.
Yeah.
That's where all yeah. Oh, I got it.
Stickers, I got stickers, yes I do.
Oh
Stickers.
Man! Congratulations, Art.
Yeah.
So when you
speaking of stickers, let's welcome to the show, all the way from South Florida. Let's welcome Above and Beyond Drones, Jimbo.
Now I'm in South Florida, Mitch.
Yeah, when did you move to
you.
When did you move to South Florida, Jim? I had no. You never tell me anything.
Should I say Central Florida or East
It's Central Florida. Yeah, they call it Central
Jim's about
Florida.
10 miles south of me, if that.
Well, then it is south. Okay.
Hey, I saw that. You know what, Mitch? I was asking on one of the shows we were on, how the hell, if they beefed up the motors to fight the wind, like they were saying it could fight the wind, this new Mini, how the hell they were keeping it under 250 grams? Well, now I know. The LiPo batteries.
Lighter battery. And
the density.
It gets the same flight time, though. That's the thing.
Yeah.
There was one guy did a review where he actually went out and bought a brand new Mini battery, the black one, and did 2 flights back to back, and they came out just within seconds of each other, the capacities of the 2 batteries, even though one of them is rated more. The lithium ions, the black ones, are rated more milliamp hours. But that's where they got the extra weight. That's where they saved the extra weight. Now,
I saw Marcus. He was only 4,000 feet out.
Yeah,
and that thing was heading down the canyon.
Yeah, that's why. That's one of the reasons mine went back to Best Buy today. After a couple of the streams with the guys, gimbals going sideways on them, I said, maybe I'll revisit this when they fix all the problems. But I don't.
Because people don't understand. In Florida, you've constantly got the tropical breeze.
Mm-hmm.
That crap is always coming one way, and it'll change directions on you real fast. So something that light, I mean, I remember telling you about trying to fly the Tello outside. That was just a no-go.
Yeah.
You got to work with the wind on that one, even if there's no wind.
Yep.
Talking about a breeze.
Yep.
I didn't understand. I can't put something 249 grams a mile away from me. You know what I mean?
Actually flew, Jim. I got to hand it to the thing. Other than the concerns that I had, I did take it out on Friday, which was very breezy in the morning, and I flew it a good distance. I took it to the park, and I went all the way on one end completely to the other, and I'm going to show the video from that on the stream tomorrow night.
Cool.
4K stuff, and if you hadn't told me, I would not have been able to tell the difference between that and the Mavic Zoom, for example, which also has a 12 megapixel sensor. It was excellent, but when I put it in sport mode, the gimbal did all kinds of strange things because the drone is tilting like this, and the gimbal doesn't have enough throw to keep up with that. In regular mode or cine, I couldn't make the gimbal screw but in sport mode. And one of the things that I thought would be the most fun with that thing would be zipping around in sport.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the gimbal does have an FPV mode on it. You can set the gimbal mode to follow or FPV, just like you can on the other Mavics, which means that when it's in
I wonder if
FPV
it locks it. Do they lock the gimbal motors in order to do that?
No. If they lock the motors, you'd get all kinds of bouncing around. It's still stabilized, but all it does is the roll axis follows your right roll stick. So when you move the right stick to the left,
Yeah.
the gimbal will roll like if you were in an FPV quad, and
Right.
you'll see the horizon actually go like this. It's not as realistic as I'd hoped, because on a camera drone you turn it with the left stick, you turn it with the yaw stick.
Yeah.
Because if you just put the other stick, it's not like an FPV drone. It won't go into a turn and then start turning. It'll continue on exactly the same heading. It just goes sideways.
Right.
You know,
Like a flat
Yeah.
spin on an aircraft.
right. When you give a left stick on a Mavic, the drone just goes sideways, but the heading is always stays exactly the same. And so what they did is they made the gimbal roll a little bit when you move the right stick, but that's not how you turn. So when you're flying like you normally fly a Mavic, you don't move the right stick to turn. You move the left stick, and the gimbal didn't turn. And the time that I tried it to see if I couldn't make it look like FPV, I
Right,
actually ended up moving both sticks to get so that I could get that yaw. But as I was getting that yaw, I was also getting sideways motion out of it too. So.
I don't use that FPV mode, but that's how I do my point of interest, both sticks. I'm turning as I'm sliding around.
Yeah. That's because you want side and yaw at the same time. But that's
Yeah.
I'm talking about if you're just flying. If you're just flying in course.
I've never tried that FPV button on there. And the other one, you know what I also never tried is the follow me with the remote controller.
I never tried that on any of the drones.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't either.
I hardly
There's a
ever
lot.
use any of those. I don't use any of those automated features. I just fly the thing and
Remotes?
point the camera.
Yeah.
Yeah, none of those quick shots. I don't use a point of interest. I mean, I probably could. I don't use the hyperlapse and the slow mo. None of that stuff. I just go up there if I'm going to take a picture or something. I'll take a picture.
If you're gonna take a picture of something, the only mode that is actually good, if you want to relax a little bit, is put the thing in course lock. So it's gonna go straight. No matter what you do, it's gonna go straight in that direction and come back in that direction. And
Yeah,
you can turn the drone while it's going straight. You can still turn it and everything.
Yeah, that's
So- That's
That's
useful.
Cool.
yeah, that's a pretty
Cool.
neat. But most people don't use any of those things. First of all, there's so many of them, and it's so complicated. And unless you use the thing on a daily basis, who the hell remembers in the app where the hell all these things actually are?
You know something? I think I went one time to use the point of interest, but then it's asking me, okay, tell me what the point of interest is. Tell me how many meters per second you want to fly that point of interest. I'm like, screw this. I'll just do it myself, and that's what I do.
And
Yeah.
you learn how to manually orbit. So
Fly Zone Drone, Brian, B-Mac, Sean
Hey,
Hyde.
Brian. Good to see you. And
Jody.
Sean Hyde Studios. Welcome to the show.
yeah,
And Grant, Mr. Stay Drunk.
Steve.
Hello from down under. He's our
Right,
second
Mike.
Aussie of this day.
Agent K. Video.
Yeah. Yep. So I got my first paid gig this week. It was a music video at the north end of downtown Denver, where in an alley where there's a lot of murals and stuff. But wanted to do it at night, and I'm trying to figure out how do I change the exposure on my Mavic Air 2 so I could get more light and
In the
just
photography
have-
settings, right?
In the camera setting.
Yeah.
Or
Oh.
right down at the bottom of the screen where it says exposure value, EV,
Right,
down at the bottom right of the screen on the Fly app,
right.
you touch that and the little wheel will come up and you can lighten the picture and darken it by running the exposure value up and down.
Well, I mean, I was, pressing everything, trying to look for something. I said, screw it, and
Because
What
you
do
have to
we do?
change the ISO for night.
yeah.
You know, that's what's handy about the old, although I liked the design of the new controller that I had with the Mavic 2 Mini there, excuse me, DJI Mini 2. I don't know names of these things.
Yeah, I
Uh,
know.
I missed that upper right scroll wheel that you can use for your EV settings on the fly. You know what I mean, Jim?
I do use that.
Yeah, I use it
You
all the
do
time.
your own
especially-
auto bracketing.
Yeah, or when you're shooting into the sun, you want to. Hello, James. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, good morning, Mitch. Jim, Art, how's everybody this morning?
We're
You
doing
enjoy the
pretty
waffles?
The waffles were great, and I got an extra hour since you guys are on daylight savings time. I got an extra, so I could actually get in and join you guys this morning, and not. I'm on my second cup of coffee now, so I don't have to worry about my
Oh,
first
there you
cup.
go.
There you go. Mitch, what was your problem with your OBS there?
Windows. When I did the Windows updates, yeah, I have 3 monitors.
Yeah.
But for some reason, after the Windows update was done, I didn't realize it. But well, I did realize it because it changed the resolutions, and I had to go back into the monitor setup and monitor 1, 2, 3, make
Yeah.
sure they were put the right. And after I did that, when this is the first time I went into OBS, well, it thought my right monitor was my center monitor. It thought my left monitor was my right monitor. So I had to go into the properties in OBS on the scenes that I had set up, and the scene that says right monitor, I had to go in and actually select the right monitor.
You did
And
the
now I
identify.
think I got it. I think I
Well,
got
when
it.
I
So
did the update, it wiped out my Stream Deck. It doesn't
Well,
automatically start it up.
it's crazy. They do all that stuff. But I think this is my right monitor, and this is my center monitor now, and this is my left monitor. So they're correct. I got them in the right order. Now it's going to be interesting to see when I reboot if it goes back to the way it was before.
Okay.
So before I do my show tomorrow night, I have to go in there and check all that stuff out, make sure it's right.
Okay, I'm in the classroom. I got my hand up.
Okay,
I want-
James.
I got a question to you, the drone gurus here. I noticed something just recently on my Phantom 4 that I never noticed before, and maybe you can tell me why. But I'm noticing that all the motors on all the motors that spin the props on there, they're starting to get a lot warmer than I ever remember them getting before. Am I starting to see the end of my life of the motors, or is that normal? Are they supposed? Maybe I never noticed it before. Is that normal? Are they supposed to get heated up like that?
They get hotter when you fight the wind. I know that's the
Yeah.
only thing I've
Well,
known.
that might be it. That might be because we've had a lot of wind here. After the typhoon, we've had some real weird weather, and I've actually had a lot of problem trying to capture some bird's eye views of the pool build back here. Trying to keep steady enough. I have to cut very
Well,
small
if you're
sections of my
just
clip.
hovering. It's probably working harder just hovering than when you're actually flying around.
And that could be because I'm doing very low, maybe 10 feet above the workers and stuff. So that might be it too.
Well, you know about vortex ring state, right? Where it's creating its own air current underneath the blades. So it's always better to just be moving a little bit, a tiny bit,
Okay.
so that it's
Now,
not
that's prob-
fighting its own current.
Not
How
that
hot
worried
are
about
they?
them.
How
Well,
hot
not,
are they?
they're hot enough where it's noticeable, where I've never noticed it before. Because normally what I do, my routine is I charge the battery, put the battery in, put the props on, go out, do my shot, bring it back in, take the props off, take the battery out, and then that's it. But before, because when you're taking the props off, I normally hold the bottom of the motor assembly inside there and do the little push down because it's got the little clip on. And I've never noticed the heat before like I've noticed over probably the last 2 or 3. But the last 2 or 3 times that I flew, we've had a lot of wind around here post typhoon, so maybe that's what it is. And low level. I normally when I fly, I'm way up there. I'm like 300, 400 meters up in the sky. Here I'm only like 10 feet above the pool with people doing the work. So
Well, let me tell you a good gauge, and I first heard this a while ago from Bardwell, and it's good advice. If you touch a motor and it's too hot to hold on to without burning yourself and feeling pain, the motor's too hot. If you can hold your hand on it and it's not so hot that it's burning you, then it's not too hot. Those things can get pretty hot. The only time they're too hot is when you can't hold on to them. Is when you can't just grab them and hold your hand there without your thumb burning and you start smelling barbecue. You know what I mean?
Okay, good tip. Good tip. Hey, I want to share with you. We're actually in the stage where they find whatever they can do in the pool bill, whatever they're able to do. Because I keep asking them, "What's your plan for tomorrow?" And then they end up doing something totally different. So I didn't realize that they were pouring some of the little side that goes around the edge. So they did that last night, and then they left. The wet concrete. When we were kids, I know you guys, especially if you grew up anywhere near a city. When you see wet sidewalk and you're 8, 9 years old, 7 years old, you go out there and you write your name. You put your name inside there and stuff like that. So let me show you. I woke up this morning and let me show you who. I think you'll be able to see where I'm getting at. I think I shared this with you, Art. There you go.
Oh, was that Hapone?
the one and only, the one that he loves the swimming pool area. I keep chasing him out of the pool. He won't love it once the water gets in there. But it's okay. It's okay because this is just the bottom level. This is and what they're going to do on top of this, they'll do the finish. They're going to use stone. There's a particular type of like a granite type stone that they're going to put inside. And we'll cover up all of this. But I thought this was cute. I'm gonna have to add this into my vlog episode today before they get to the stonework. It'll be a while before they do that.
What are you doing on the edges there? Because it sure as hell isn't precision work. Out towards the center.
Okay.
That's just the shell.
The right or the left? Where are you talking about, Jim?
The right side.
Okay, the right side. That's going to be. They'll clean that up. Right now, this is just it's only a 2-inch base with steel reinforced rebar inside. It's the exact way that they build sidewalks out here is the way they did this. So what'll happen is the one on the left-hand side, that's the leader edge, which will be the coping that goes around the swimming pool. So they'll build that up, and what they'll do is they'll go one more layer where the dog footprints are, the actual sidewalk. And that will be the finished sidewalk, which will be some stonework with a little bit of concrete in between in between that. And then all the way to the right, if it goes over, if it's too high, they'll take the stonework and they'll go over and drop it down and use that same sidewalk on. But what we'll do, it doesn't matter because we'll just run our grass right up to the edge work of the sidewalk, so it'll look nice when it's done. They sent me pictures. What they did, they sent me a picture of all these other projects that they did before, and they said you pick out what type of sidewalk that you want around your pool. You pick out what kind of coping you want, what type of finish, what type of tile, everything inside there. So I've already seen a completed project with what we're doing right here, and it looks real nice when it's done.
Yeah, Mitch. Oh, Mitch had to go. Okay, bye.
He's going to work on that computer.
So they're supposed. I'm able to
tell everybody welcome to the pool building version of the drone show.
Well, that's all I know right now. That's kind of my life. That's kind of my life right now is this project, and it's a pretty massive project. And I'm all hands on.
I saw all the depth layers that you had going on there.
Yeah.
Like it's 3 feet in one area, and then over here's another.
We have a 5 inch, a 10 inch, and that's for the children and the grandchildren. And the 5 inch is just for a lounge area. We're going to put a couple lounge chairs there with an umbrella in the center, so you just keep your feet wet inside there. And you're still part of the pool. Then a 10 inch section for a little bit, a little deeper section, because my wife is she's fearful of water. So I figured 10 inches she can at least sit inside there. And then I made her a 4 foot section so she can get into the deeper section where it's not above her chin or anything like that. Then it drops down to a 5 foot section. It's not a real big pool because we have a strict HOA rule because these are zoned. We're what's called farm lots. And you can't use more than 25% of your footprint for your house. And pool is included in that 25%. So the house and the pool together, we are just under the 25%. So that's why we didn't make the house. Some people are building houses around here, and they're thinking, oh, I'm going to build my house to the full 25%. I'm going right up to that number. But they don't think, oh, later on, maybe I want to build a tool shed in the backyard,
Right.
or I want to build a workshop, or I want to build a swimming pool, something, and that all is included in your 25%. So I think many people made a mistake by overbuilding their house. I don't know. That's the way. If you don't want a pool, if you don't want a workshop, then and you want to live in your house, then that's fine. That's a good way to go. But I keep getting emails from subscribers on my channel who have actually bought lots here in our subdivision. Believe it or not, there's been over 30 properties sold here
Wow.
from subscribers of our channel. Many of them are Americans. We have some from different parts of the world, Germany and Canada and other places in Europe particularly. But they always ask me, what's your recommendation on the size of our house, building our house? And I always say, if you ever want to do anything outside, you want to build anything that's going to have a concrete foundation, I said, you have to consider that. Make sure you don't overbuild your house. Because what will happen is the contractors over here, because they get paid per square meter when they build your house.
Oh.
So they want you to build the biggest house that you can fit on the lot because they make more money off of it. They're not looking out for your interest, they're looking out for their interest. So you have to be careful.
Is the lot size the same as it is here, just a quarter acre? Or are they bigger lots there? Or?
Well, here, it's just like the U.S. Well, I will say U.S., it is about the standard size. We have a home in Charleston, South Carolina. Our lot is a quarter acre there. It's in a subdivision. It's in a regular type of subdivision. This is the same exact size. This is a quarter acre here. It's just shy of 900 square meters is what we have here. But normally in the Philippines, if you're not in even if you're in a gated community, the average size, believe it or not, the average size of a lot that they sell to normal families over here, the standard size is probably right close to 150 square meters. It's very small. And then what they'll do, if it's not, normally they're not zoned farm lot restriction. So you can basically build a half a meter of the street. And what they do is they build like half a meter or like 3 feet or 1.5 feet. They build their entire house on their lot. So where their fence is, you have like an area about this big right here to walk around your house where you can actually, when you're taking a shower in the morning, I keep saying this, you can shake the guy's hand in the shower, in his shower in the house right next to you. So, but that's what they'll do over here. But when you go into some of the gated subdivisions over here, normally they're larger size lots like these over here. We have some lots in here up to about twice the size of this one, somewhere around about 1,500 square meters.
Great. Cool.
I wouldn't want to do that. I'm all about having my own space.
I hear you. Well, that's one of the great things about most places in the U.S., especially out in the West, Colorado, and where you're at. Because I was looking at property in Colorado when I was out there doing one of my jobs when I was out there, and I'm looking at these people, and it's like everybody has a minimum of 5 acres around around their house in the area that I was looking at. I'm like, oh man, this would be so nice to have something like this. But the Philippines isn't that big. It's a and land is a premium. They have a lot of people and very little land, so they have to chop it up and make it equitable for everybody.
So, where were you looking in Colorado?
Well, I was down. What's the big army? What's the big army base there?
Oh, that would be Fort Carson,
Fort Carson.
down by
And yeah,
Colorado Springs.
down Colorado Springs. That's where I was looking at. I worked
okay.
there. I worked there for about almost 6 months. I was
Wow.
I was an instructor down there.
Beautiful area there.
Yeah, it's beautiful. We went. What's the name of the mountain? The mountain is there where they have the cable car thing that takes you down
Oh,
the
that's
side.
Pikes Peak.
Pikes Peak. Pikes Peak.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
beautiful in that area.
Yeah.
It's one. It's I remember when I used to be active duty, for the U.S. Colorado was always my number one choice on my dream sheet. Everybody who's been in the military knows you have a dream sheet
Right.
for your assignments where you want to go to. Colorado was always my number one, but unfortunately I was never able to get that as a duty assignment.
Oh. Yep. Well, and then you've got Fountain, which is near there, and then if you go further south to Pueblo West, they've got a lot of lots that you can buy, and they're usually fairly good sized lots, and you got great views of the mountains there, and there's still a whole bunch of vacant lots up for sale there.
Well, I saw lots when I was there. I was actually looking because I was really considering. I wanted to retire in Colorado. I really wanted to retire there when I got done. But fate kind of puts you going into weird, different directions, and
Right.
so I ended up in another location. But what amazed me was because I like things like ponds. One of the things that I've always wanted was a natural pond, fish and
Right.
if you build a pond on the East Coast where we have a home, it's expensive to get like river rock and the big boulder rocks and stuff like. It is so expensive because a lot of it's trucked in from Colorado. Yeah, that's where a lot of the sourcing comes from. And what I noticed when I was out there, I looked at other properties that were for sale, people who had ponds and they had pools with the natural rock formations and all this kind of stuff. But it's all there. It's available. The resources are right there.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of brings me into one topic. I'm not going to stay here too long. I want to get some things done with the pool before the pool guys, because they're actually working today. But did you hear on my last episode, it was either the last one or the one before last, where I asked them about the stone or rock formations that we're going to be using for the waterfall? I don't know if you caught up on that one. But originally, at the very beginning, they were saying do these like fall rocks. You know how they make it out of concrete.
Oh, yeah.
And what I asked them at the very beginning, I said, I'm all for that if you can make it look like a natural rock and stone. I said, I know the techniques are out there. I looked at all the YouTube videos. I know in the U.S. the pool companies come and they use like an acid stain that they put on there, and there's a technique where they have like 5 different variations of shades where they
Right.
squirt like darker sections where they have the cracks so it looks like a shadow inside there, and you can barely tell that is that a rock or not a rock. Well, I asked them over here after we decided we were going to go with the concrete. I asked them, is that what you're going to do? You guys experience, because it's a talent. It's a skill to do that, and it takes I would say years to perfect. And they said, "Oh no, we're going to paint them. We're just going to put paint on them." I'm like, no. I said, I don't want any paint. I don't want any paint on the pool. I don't want to be pressure washing and
Yep.
paint chip off and everything like that. So, they offer now to bring all real natural stones. They'll probably be going
Oh,
up
wonderful.
to, they store it up in Calamba Laguna, which is north
Right.
of us, about 20, 30 kilometers north of us.
Right.
So that they said they're going to go up there and they're going to start selecting some stone bricks. So I'm really excited about that.
How far are you from Santa Rosa Laguna?
About, well, that's the same because Calamba Laguna is to the right of the tollway, the Star Tollway. The left side is Santa Rosa, which is about the same. So they're both about 30 kilometers from here.
Yeah, that's where my godson lives there.
Ah.
So I'll
It's a
probably
developing-
be going there when I come to the Philippines. Because the last time I saw him, he was only 2 months old, and if I go in February, he'll be 4 years old.
That's a really nice area, and that's what I call the modernization zone of southern Luzon, because what they're doing is they're building things. It looks, when you drive down now in Santa Rosa, the whole area, new subdivisions are popping up over there. The developers, they're working with the city engineers for modernization. I wish they were doing that here in Lipa, but it's very slow in here in Lipa. They're very far behind. But Santa Rosa is nice. The outdoor cafes, very modern malls that they have right there. The subdivisions are comparable to the very nice subdivisions that I'm accustomed to in the U.S. Very, very, very nice in that area.
Okay.
But it's
Great.
hot.
Yeah. And I have friends that live in General Trias. And that's probably where I'll stay for a couple days when I first get there, and then I'll get a ride to come out your way and visit you. And let's see. And then I'm going to be flying down to Mindanao, go down to Davao to see my goddaughter there, and then fly up to Dipolog to go see my girlfriend. Go check out her area.
Well, have you checked on any of the travel restrictions lately to see if they've opened anything up yet?
But I was just going to pretty soon.
Yeah, you should keep checking on that. I will tell you, I'm keeping an eye on the people who are actually foreigners, like myself, who have visas here, resident visas here. And because remember, we haven't been back home to the U.S. in over a year now because of all
right.
this. And I'm anxious to get back to see my family, see my friends back in the U.S. But right now, because of the type visa I have, it's a good visa, but it's not so good for this time right now, because our visa, we can exit the country, but we cannot come back into the country at this time because of the COVID. We can't we can't even come back in and sit in a quarantine for 14 days in Manila like certain people are. Now, if you have a 13A visa, we have a SRRV visa, special residence retiree visa. If you have a 13A visa, permanent resident visa over here, and your wife is Filipino and has a Filipino passport, you as a foreigner can come back now. You can come back into the country. And you have to go through the 14 day. I don't know if it's 14 days in Manila and 14 days home quarantine when you get here. But they're allowing them to come back in now, spouses. But for us under our visa, I just got a phone call the other day from one of the managers up at the Philippine Retirement Authority. She keeps us abreast of information we can share with people on our channel, because a lot of people on our channel are people who are trying to retire inside the Philippines. They're looking for information. So we help spread the word, and that's why she calls. And she said there was a big problem. There was a really big problem. And it had nothing to do with Americans trying to come back into the country. What it had problem is there was some illegal activity going on as far as another Asian country sending a lot of people in. Remember, our visa is a retiree visa. When you're normally when you think about retiring, it's usually people 50 years and older. Well, they had a provision inside there that allowed people 35 years old and older to come in. So it was happening. Somebody found a loophole in that, and they were using. I won't say a loophole because it was there. It was legal, but they were coming into the country for wrong reasons, and I'll leave it at that with the wrong when I say wrong reasons. And they were causing a lot of problem over here, so they put a ban. They stopped taking applications for it, and it's under like right now. I think it's about a week and a half longer on a moratorium, and then they're reevaluating their policy. They're dropping the 35-year-old rule inside there. You won't be able to come in unless you're 50 years or older for that visa, and they're trying to
So
fix.
watch out, you whippersnappers. Here's my old visa. Look at that hippie.
Oh my goodness! Yeah.
That was 1990 when I got a visa I went to Aruba. That was my first foreign gig when I was a stand-up comic, and so I went down there, and the gig was for a whole month, and I stayed at the Holiday Inn there in Aruba and just had a blast.
That's a Beach Boys song, something about Aruba, na, pretty mom, right?
Yep, in Kokomo.
Yeah, that's it. Hey, I got to ask you, you are such a likable guy. You're such a likable, and I really enjoyed your comedy routines that you did, the little clips that you sent me. Why did you ever get out of that? Why don't you, even if you're looking in one area, why don't you do that on the side or something like that?
Well, it's a lot of work. I'm living here in Colorado, where most of the paid gigs are back east or in the upper northwest. The driving is what really got to me. It was just, those hours on the road. And a lot of the work that I was doing was in the southeast, like in Georgia, North Carolina, and in Florida. And up in the Midwest, I did shows in Ohio, Michigan, Illinois, Wisconsin. It was a lot of work because what'll end up happening is you're doing a lot of one-nighters where it's like Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So you got all this other time spent just to get to the next gig. So
yeah,
say you got a show, okay, you're in New Bern, North Carolina, and the next gig is in Goldsboro. And then the next gig might be, I don't know, maybe Savannah, Georgia. And it's all that driving, and plus, while all this is going on, you're constantly writing new material to keep up to date, to keep from getting stale. You gotta remember, there's hundreds of thousands of new people getting into the business, and it's making it harder and harder to get work because a lot of clubs, you've already worked there 2 or 3 times, they want to see somebody new, so the work just got less and less.
Well, I know exactly where you're coming from because Ness and I were in the entertainment industry as well. When we were in South Korea. In South Korea, I actually retired while I was in South Korea when I was active duty, and I became a contractor. But what we did, when I talk about the entertainment industry, we were a traveling band.
Right.
We were one of three North American bands that were allowed contracting over the entire South Korean peninsula. We had all the Army bases, we had all the Army posts, the Air Force bases, and we had USO. We had a USO contract, and
Right.
and I appreciate what you're talking about. The travel, it's taxing. What I did was I worked Monday through Friday as a contractor, And then Friday night and Saturday night, almost every Friday night and Saturday night, we flipped the hat around, and we became rock and roll stars. And but the road, the traveling is some of the most taxing. Now you don't have a lot of baggage as a comedian. Your baggage is what you keep right here inside your head. And you do your practice and stuff. Me, I was the manager. I was the promoter. I was the sound man. All the gear except the drum kit. While I had somebody that wasn't my friend was drummer, I had all the gear. So I actually had to sell a car that I really loved. It was one of my favorite cars. And then I had to sell that to get a van to be able to move all the gear around. So I made some sacrifice. I made some sacrifices there. But I don't know about for you there, but there's an intrinsic satisfaction you get performing. I know you know that feeling, what I'm talking about, getting up there on stage. The very first time you do it, it's like, it's a fear factor. But once you start doing it and you start having fun and you interact with the audience and things like that, I've never felt anything like that before as far as any of the jobs that I ever had. So I think that was the driving force, because we didn't make a lot of money. It wasn't a lot of money, not for us, because we had to divide up. You got to realize we had 5 people. We had 5 people in the van, and that's another thing for you.
Here's your 12 bucks.
Yeah.
Well, I got a chance to tour Asia. I was in Kunsan and Osan in South Korea, and in Japan I went to Misawa, Yokota, Atsugi, which my dad was stationed there in 1945, and Kadena in Okinawa. And my dad was stationed there in 1945. It was right after the peace treaty was signed. So he was part of the occupation force.
Now, when you performed at Osan, do you remember what year that was?
95.
95. Oh, I just missed you. I just missed you.
January of 95. And it snowed there.
Every year it snows there. Every year.
Well,
I got to tell you.
It snowed in Misawa when we first got there.
I don't think a lot of people realize this. I got to tell you, I've been in a lot of places around the world. My jobs have taken me to a lot of places, and I was actually my mom's from New York. I was born in New York, so I know the weather. I know the weather up in that part of the U.S. I know the weather in most places of the world. I got to tell you, the coldest place I've ever been in my life is in Seoul, South Korea. The coldest place. I've never been any place that's any colder than that place right there. I don't know where it is on the Latin Long where it is towards the north
of the 38th parallel.
But for me, the places I've never been to Alaska, so I can't say about Alaska or the Arctic or anything like that. But that's the coldest place I've ever been. I was in Seoul, and I watched a hotel turn on the fountain. They had this fountain on the outside, and I stood there and watched it, and I watched the water freeze. It started here, and then it squared down a little more, and I just watched it, and the arch just totally froze up the fountain.
Well, when we finished up in Korea, we were heading back to L.A., and we're waiting for our flight, and I caught a really bad cold. And so we're on the plane heading back, and I'm sitting between the 2 comedians, and this guy comes over and is talking to our headliner, and Bo nudges me and says, "Hey, Art, I want you to meet my friend Roger." So I talked to Roger for a few minutes and said hello, and his band was playing in Seoul. And he walked away, and I go, wait a minute, was that the president's brother? He goes, yeah, it was. It was Roger Clinton.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
So-
It's amazing. Yeah, it's amazing who you meet. It's amazing who you meet in the entertainment industry.
Yep.
We met a bunch of really nice people. I remember we even one time we were the band of choice by the U.S. Embassy in South Korea. We were the one. All of their functions that they had, whether it be the Christmas party or they had any dignitary come in, we were played all these real high scale hotels. And I remember one time we played at the Grand Hyatt, and for a Christmas party, and the U.S. ambassador to South Korea, he says he comes up to his secretary or somebody comes up, somebody that worked for him, and said the ambassador would like to know, would it be okay? He says he's like a closet musician, plays the drums. Is it okay then on a song or two? And well, he's the one who's paying. It was his. It was his Christmas party for the U.S. Embassy, and I said, oh yeah, we'll be honored. Vershbo, I think it was Ambassador Vershbo was his name, and he came out there, and he got up there, and I was like, oh, he's an ambassador. What's he going to really know about it? But we're going to play. We're going to have a good time. He surprised the heck out of us. He was really good. So I said, he was after the first song. He's like, okay, thank you for inviting me up. I said, no. I said, you mind playing another couple? So he sang. I think he played 3 songs with us that night.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it was good. So for you, as far as entertainers go, other comedians or in the entertainment industry, what are some of the names that you happen to bump up against during your travels?
Oh, I
hope I'm not putting you on the spot.
I knew Roseanne before she was famous.
Ah.
And let's see, I worked with Louis Anderson and Rob Schneider from, remember him from Saturday Night Live? Yeah, that's the truth.
Yeah. Of course. Yeah.
And who else I worked with? Oh, Sinbad. I met him when I first went on stage, which was really cool. And that was before he got really big. And and I also had a lot of friends that were musicians, so I met a lot of rock stars. One time, I was a metalhead back in the 80s. And
well, I could tell from your picture on your passport.
Yeah. I hung out at this heavy metal club here in the Denver area. So she takes me up to one of the upper levels in the club, and there's Angus Young from AC/DC. And she introduces me to him, so I got to sit with him and the drummer at the time, and we talked about the entertainment business, and he got ready to leave, and he said, so are you going to the concert? I said, no, I don't have tickets. And he hands me a napkin. He said, put your name on that, and I'll have a couple tickets waiting at the Wilk Hall with backstage passes.
Oh, how cool was that, huh?
That was awesome.
Yeah. Well, it's a fun industry, and I would think for you, because you're not too far from downtown Denver. How many miles are you from the Denver metro
I'm
area?
about let's see, where I work is 15 miles from here, and I'm like just down the street from the state capitol.
Yeah, so I know Denver's got to be a big entertainment area inside there with restaurants and clubs and things like that.
Oh yeah, there's a spot called Larimer Square where they have a lot of restaurants and bars. Comedy Works is right there, and that was one of the main clubs I worked at here in Denver. And then there was another club on the south end of town called the Comedy Club, and that's where I started comedy. And unfortunately, they went out of business about 15 years ago.
But yeah,
So
I would think you should try to get like a weekend gig every now and then out there. You really should. I would love you to record something like you should do it. You should do your own. You know what? Here's an idea for you. You just started monetizing this channel, right?
Right.
ArtCo Drone Solutions, right? Why don't you do your own comedy show on YouTube? How's that for a recommendation right there? I think it would go great. You know, everything starts with an idea. Everything starts. And what I talked with, and I kind of pride myself for being an idea person, because that all has to do with working in integration in the technology industry.
Right.
You try to think of what somebody needs, or they have a need, and you come up with a solution that would be popular with them because you're trying to sell something.
Right.
So I told the pool guy over here the other day, and our channel, we're focusing on the pool build.
Right.
Our first part of the series was the house build, starting in 2017, and nobody was really doing that on YouTube. There was very little people doing detailed, comprehensive overview, DIY or overview of a contract. Nobody was really doing that. Since we did that, and it was successful, everybody, I won't call them copycat, but there's so much similarity inside there of all these other channels that are doing the same thing. It became very popular, and there's enough room around here for everybody to be able to do something like that, because everybody wants to see a different type of build, different objective, see how different builders do it. So that's that's good. So I talked with the pool guy here the other day. I said, you know what? I said, I follow the statistical analysis of my channel. I didn't at the very beginning when we were building a house, but now that it's become a little bit more than a hobby, I'm starting to follow things a little bit better. And statistically, we are getting more interest in our pool build than we were on our house build over the 12 months that we built the house. I will tell you, if you look at the numbers, and they're exceeding what we still do with our DIY for gardening or anything that we do around here. So that a little bulb popped up in the top of my head, and I'm thinking, well, let me look, and I'm looking around, and there's really nobody else doing this right now. So what I talked to the contractor here. I said, you know what? Here, I'm giving you something on a golden tray right here, or a silver tray, they say, right? On a silver tray. Here, I'll give you this. When we get done with this project, I said, since you are in the pool business and you go from place to place, you build different designs everywhere, why don't you be the first to start your own pool construction video channel and use this as your theme? I said, if you want to, everything about in the Philippines is helping your family. I said, get your younger nephews and nieces. I said, bring them over here to my house. I'll train them. I'll tell them exactly how they need to do. I said, and then this will generate jobs for your family. This will grow your business
like I have.
And maybe one day, and that's what I'm shooting for. Maybe one day I can have a nice apartment like you have there. That's right. But since nobody's doing it right now, and hopefully the word doesn't get out, and all these other people don't try to do this right now. But he could be on the ground floor, and it's important sometimes to get in on the ground floor and establish yourself. You have your little trademark that you have, and So he thought that was a good idea. So I believe I'm gonna
Well,
be
that's
working with.
wonderful.
Yeah, I'll be working with him. It'll help his family, help his business, and I like seeing success stories. But you,
Well,
we're not talking about him. We're talking about you. And you can see somebody said,
yes,
this Rick Halver says you need to start writing some jokes.
yeah, yeah. That's right. I'll give it a try. But if I ever do decide to build a home in the Philippines, I'll definitely be coming to you because, well, I'm a computer geek, and I would like to build a house that's integrated to where the bedrooms have their own internet access, and have like what you have, where you have that cabinet area in the hallway where you have all your network stuff. And that's
Yeah.
something I would like to look into if I build a house. I'll definitely I want to get a studio, you know, where it's either a separate bedroom, or if I build a house with the basement, I could have the studio down there and paint one of the walls green, and then I could have a built-in green screen and
Well,
have a nice setup.
You can do it. Yeah, you can do it. I can see it. And if you want that, bet, and this is one of the things, this is our creed on our channel, is if you want something bad enough in life, you only have to follow the 3 simple rules. It's ABC. That's not the acronyms or anything like that, but it's 3 things. You have to have a goal, like what you want to do
Yep.
with that, build the house and have your studio. Then you have to have a good plan. You have to sit down and really plan it out properly, and it has to be a realistic plan. And the most important, which is the hardest thing, where everybody, well, I'm going to say everybody, the people who fail, this is where they fail, is on the 3rd step. And that's, they don't follow through on the plan. They don't follow through. You have to
Right.
follow through. You have to be dedicated, and everything has to be achievable, and you have to work. You have to make sacrifices sometimes. That's what we did. We sacrificed to be able to move to the Philippines. I mean, we spent years, my wife and I spent years apart from each other. I spent many years, 12 months at a time overseas, working jobs, just like OFWs do in the Philippines. They send their family
Right.
overseas. Well, she sent me, always a Filipino, and she sent me overseas. I was in OFW, and she was in the U.S., and I was in a foreign country. But we saved, and we saved, and we saved. We were disciplined, dedicated. We put the money aside so that we could build our retirement home in the Philippines. But yeah, you can do that. I can see you doing that. And I can already imagine, I can see it live from the basement in Mindanao, Philippines. Here's Art Carlson. I can see it. I can see that happening. Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, my girlfriend, she just started a piggery down there. So she's got one sow that's just about ready to drop a litter of piglets in about a month. And she's got 13 other pigs. And so her sister, she's married to an Aussie. She lives in Tasmania. And she's been helping her out and got her a lot and built a house. So I'll go down there and check it out and see how I like provincial life down there, because it's
Well, it's different. I got to tell you, Art, you have to prepare yourself, and I think that's where a lot of people fail, because they have one perception. They think it's beautiful here, but there are challenges here. There are challenges that, unless you go back to the 1920s and 1930s in the U.S.
yeah, that's
You don't-
exactly how I felt when I first time I went
Yeah.
to the Philippines. I felt like I was time traveling back to the cities, you know.
Yeah. So you have to mentally prepare yourself, and then you have to be a disciplined person, and you can't bring your baggage from your previous life. When I say baggage, I mean your way of thinking. You no matter where you are, whether it's Germany, Australia, the United States, for me, I could not come over here with my American way of thinking, try to be successful inside the Philippines. What you
Right.
have to do, you have to assimilate. You have to assimilate. And if you're willing to do that, and the people are great over here, it's a different way of life. But if you're willing to do that, and you'll be very happy of it. I will tell you, you'll be very happy. That's what makes me so happy. I see people that come over here, they come over here, and what they try to do is they try to push their way of thinking on this culture. And what ends
Right.
up happening, they come over here, they're like, this is not what I thought the life is over here. It's because you can't push your way of thinking on them. You have to be part of this culture right now.
Yeah.
No matter what, even if you're a resident, no matter what, unless you become a full citizen, and even if you become a full citizen, you got to realize you always must think in your mind, I'm a guest in this country. Even if I have a permanent resident visa up here, I am a guest. And these are my hosts, and I need to work with everybody around here. As long as you do that and you can understand that, this is paradise. This is paradise. That's what makes me so happy over here. So, but you have to have that. You have to have that mindset.
Right, right. And plus, if things work out, I'll have an instant family with 2 little kids.
No matter what, you're gonna have an instant family over here.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah.
You ask anybody.
Well, I mean, with all the God kids I have, I feel like I already have an extended family already in the Philippines, and I already know that I'll be welcome to their home when I arrive. So that's kind of cool. One of the things that what I like to do is when the kids are out of school, hopefully we could do some traveling to where I could show the kids, the different parts of their own country and teach them a little bit about the history of their own country and how U.S. history and Philippine history have, intertwined in the late 19th century and early 20th century, and give them that kind of perspective about their country.
Well, if that's your plan, and you come over, there are so many things that will keep you occupied between family and your hobbies. There's just and trying to make sure you have electricity and you have water. And you're not flooding, and your roof stays on your house.
Yeah,
like I said, you got the good, bad, and the ugly about it all. But if you're prepared, and you have a good plan, you do good. And
Right.
again, this is, to me, it's paradise. Yeah, I see them. Okay, now that's just I have to get off here. Our pool crew. What's that?
On TV.
What?
Speaking.
Who?
Biden.
Oh, okay. So so anyway, I gotta go. The pool team crew are here, and it's
right.
Sunday. It's Sunday, a little bit later on Sunday, but I think we'll get a lot done today. I'm looking forward to this.
Awesome.
All right,
Well,
thank you so much for
coming,
inviting
Jim.
me.
It's always
Yeah.
pleasure having you, and looking forward to your next video.
Okay, and if you get a chance to talk with Greg Kuhn, he invited me on his show yesterday, but by the time I couldn't get on. I took the computer. I turned around. I was watching the program from in the yard while I was working, and I hope I didn't offend him. By not coming on. I really wanted to be on his show yesterday, but sometimes the priorities are not aligned the way some
okay.
people want.
That's who
So-
he was talking about.
That means I got to go back and watch an episode, huh? All right. Well, thank you so much. I will see you online, and I'll see you potentially next Saturday again. Or
Okay.
All right.
Take
All right.
care.
All right. Have a good evening there. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye. Oh, wow. That's That's great. Hey, Copper State Aerial Photography, Mike, welcome to the show. And Rick Halber. Yeah, well, thanks, Rick, for sticking around. Hopefully that was entertaining. Something a little different. That, I mean, look at all the other drone channels. How many could say, hey, I have somebody from the Philippines on talking about how life is like in the Philippines. So we mix it up a little bit here and make it a little interesting. So it doesn't look like anybody else is going to be jumping in. Before I close out the show, I'm going to talk a little bit about the Buds 20 that I won from Kelly Shores over there at Race at Drone. Well, I took it out for a couple flights. First time I flew it, it was a pretty windy day, so found out it's not a great drone when it's windy. It's nothing like a DJI drone, even though it's got GPS on it. I don't know what kind of stabilization it uses. Maybe it uses I believe it has cameras that point down, so I think it's similar to that. However, the range is very limited. The height is really limited. I couldn't get above 80 meters, which is, a couple hundred feet maybe. Camera on it is pretty darn good. I'm glad you like that, Rick, yeah. Here's the problem. I get it out there a ways, because I fly it out in back of my apartment. There's that playground to the right and the basketball court, and there's a nice, pretty good size grassy area there before you hit the fence. And there, anyway, where I lost that one drone. I can't even get as far as that fence. I'll get about halfway there and it just stops. And I can go forwards or backwards. That's about it. I can't get it to go right or left. Oh, okay, so that's 262. Oh, okay. So I did get it up to, about 80 meters, 82 meters. Got some cool video. I'm going to release a video tomorrow. And okay. Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad you had a good time with your daughter, Rick. So the thing is, I could not get the drone. Yes, that's right. Meter is 3 feet, 3 inches. I couldn't get it to turn around. It was just like it got up there and it was stuck at that. I don't know if maybe I didn't. It's a beginner's. Well, I'll have to check that. So I get it up there, and maybe I don't have the antennas oriented right to where I could get the. Because what I wanted to do is I wanted to do like a panorama at the max altitude, and I wanted to, okay, 39 and 5/8. Oh, okay, cool. And compare the camera to the 4K camera of the Mavic Air 2. So So it's really limited on range. The camera's not too bad. The gimbal, you can adjust the gimbal up and down. Very choppy, not real smooth like on the Mavic Air 2. But I wouldn't pay more than $100 for it. So I'll do a review on it and I'll release it tomorrow, and we'll see how it goes. So. Oh, they may have one art like DJI has on their. Oh, okay. Here's the thing. They're set up for the screen. Well, it's almost exactly like the DJI layout of where the altitude and distance, and down the lower left-hand corner, they've got the little map, and it shows you the little arrow where it shows you where the drone is pointed, and and it shows you the gimbal settings. That's about it. So it's very similar to that. It does have follow me mode and waypoints, and what else? What is that? Object, where you get lock on an object and it'll do an orbit around that object. So point of interest. That's right. It has that. So. Excuse me. So I'll have to try that out. Also on the Mavic Air 2, it's got all that stuff. What I would like to do is before the weather starts getting crazy around here for winter, I get the RoboMaster and have someone drive that around while I have the Mavic Air 2 in follow me mode. So that'll be kind of cool to do that. So anyways, folks, I want to thank you all, Timeless Truths, for popping in, Agent K, Rick, everybody, thanks for coming to the show. You guys all have a great weekend, and we'll catch you next time. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.